Welcome to a brand new episode of The Kick Out. I go by the name of Skillet,
And I'm Mix.
and we are here to talk about the week's wrestling events that's been happening in the world of wrestling. We have a big title match to discuss. But Max, how are you first and foremost?
Not too bad. Kind of disappointed that this kind of lull of wrestling is still going on. It's been about 3 weeks now. Hoping it gets better soon. But yeah, other than that, things are all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's kind of, you're right, man. Like after WrestleMania, you kind of don't get, they don't really put you in the mood to keep talking about wrestling or excited to watch wrestling right now. So we did have an exciting episode of The Kick Out last week. We had Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett in the building, which got a lot of love and a lot of buzz around the internet. Jeff Jarrett will be showcasing his debut in his own podcast with the one and only Conrad Thompson on the 4th of May. So look out for that. It's called The World. Was it The World According to Jeff Jarrett? My World with Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, My World with Jeff Jarrett. So big up Jeff Jarrett for always showing love to The Kick Out. So yeah, we have to show love back. But Max, what has been going on? Because I haven't, if I'm honest with you, I haven't been catching up with Raw. I haven't really caught up with AEW much, but I did watch the TNA AEW bout that took place at the TNA pay-per-view Rebellion. But let's can you give us a little rundown of what's been going on the world of wrestling?
So I guess we can start from there. That was the big story from the weekend. Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann. That was the title versus title match. AEW World Championship on the line, Impact World Championship on the line. These two had a great match. In the end, Swann did lose, as a lot of us would have predicted. Kenny Omega is now the Impact World Champion, the AEW World Champion, and of course the AAA World Champion. The question is now, are we actually going to see him acknowledge being the Impact World Champion on AEW? Because AEW never built towards this match at all. It was never on their TV show that Kenny Omega was going for this. I think they might have put a quick vignette or something up the week before the match, but all the weeks since the match had been made, nothing towards it. We never saw Rich Swann on AEW. Begs the question, why, really? And then from here on out, are we going to see Kenny Omega actually walking around with the Impact World Championship? Are we going to see Rich Swann make an appearance on Dynamite to, stake his claim back for that title? So, pretty interesting stuff. But right now, we just don't know how AEW are going to deal with it, as, Kenny Omega is carrying a lot of titles right now.
Yeah, it is. You made a very good point there. It's very strange because, even to this build-up that we see on TNA for this match between AEW versus TNA, Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega, you still see, Khan showing up in the TNA build-ups, making at the press conference saying that he wants to take Rich Swann and make Rich Swann join AEW. But it's weird when you watch AEW, do they even mention this match at all?
They had like I said, a little promo package last week on Dynamite, obviously the Wednesday before the match on Sunday, and that was it. But this match has been announced since about mid-February.
That's very strange.
So I can only put it down to it being a TNT thing.
Yeah, possibly.
TNT have already kind of caused AEW heat with the fact that they debuted Sting in November without, just literally debuting him, surprising him. And obviously, as wrestling fans, we love that kind of stuff, but they want more of announcements because they want it to spike ratings.
Yeah.
You don't have to say Sting's coming, but you have to say tune in because we're getting a big debut, like they did with Christian.
Yeah.
Paul White said that, someone's going to be at the pay-per-view and that there's going to be a special entrant in the ladder match being Ethan Page. That's what they want. TNT don't want no surprises. And I can imagine maybe this is just TNT not wanting another wrestling program to be promoted on their programming. So it is a bit weird. It's like, why go ahead with all this forbidden door and relationship stuff if it can't be shown? But at the same time, this could be AEW being maybe a bit arrogant in the whole fact they're a bigger company than Impact. And now maybe the story will unfold. We might see, like I say, Rich Swann turn up on AEW. We may see someone like Moose turn up and be like, look at this guy that went and lost our world title. I have to go get it back now. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities, but yeah, it has been very weird that everything's kind of been not as you would think at this point.
Well, it was a very enjoyable match. You know, two masters in their craft. I did feel like there was some. It felt like some botches took place. I don't know if Rich Swann really got when he got spiked on the apron. Was he actually really dizzy? He must have been.
I thought he must have been. Yeah. I did.
He continued the match valiantly. He wrestled still really well, but there were certain spots you just felt, oh man, he's messing up a bit. But it was a very good match, and it's good to see, you know, Rich Swann be booked strong against Kenny. Kenny didn't make him look like a wimp or nothing, and tried to, you know, didn't Triple H him, you know, just gave him a really good match, and Kenny is now the TNA World Champion. Wow, that's crazy. So Kenny Omega joins that illustrious list of TNA World Champions.
And he doesn't even work for the company. I don't know what the list of TNA or former Impact World Champions looks like per se, but I'm sure he must be one of a few on there that have won it without actually being a contracted member of the Impact TNA roster.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Who else
I guess it's funny. It might depend how you look at it, because at the same time they had the NWA belt there for a while.
Yes.
So yeah, people might have come and won the NWA belt without being an Impact
contracted.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to talk about in the world of wrestling? I'm trying to think. I mean, I didn't watch Raw.
So I guess the big story from last week, which we can talk about a bit, was Mickie James, the whole bin bag gate, if you want to call it that.
Yes, please. Let's talk about this.
Being sent her belongings in a trash bag. Not just her. Chelsea Green has also said that she was sent the same. Probably all of them. Some previous wrestlers have come out and said this is the way they've been doing it for years. Like, this isn't anything new. Maybe Mickie James is just standing up to whoever it was. Triple H put out a message that the person behind all of that has been sacked, lost their job. John Laurinaitis also said a similar thing. Stephanie McMahon sent a message personally to Mickie James saying that she's apologized that she was treated this way. And Mickie James accepted the apology, but had, you know, a bit of something else to say to Stephanie as well. I mean, I don't believe Mickie James should have even been released, because maybe she still wants to wrestle, which I get, but she is just, you know, such a figurehead in that women's division. She could be a coach backstage or something. She had recently commentated on the pre-show of TakeOver. This last TakeOver.
I thought that was going to be her new role, to be honest.
Commentating.
I don't know why she got released, to be honest. It didn't make any sense to me.
Releasing her is crazy. Then, you know, and I think the fact he's kind of put out there as a release because she is a legend, they probably could have even done that a bit more tactful way. You see what I mean? Like, a bit more care around how they released her from the company, and then to send her stuff in a bin bag. It's just
it's diabolical.
Madness, man.
Yeah, it is. Bad. It is. That's really bad. Wow. Yeah, man. I feel for Mickie James, and it's like you heard these things before in the past, like, you know, CM Punk said that he got a FedEx machine, some sort of inspired FedEx during his wedding day. Was in his wedding day. I don't know. It just seems like they just. I mean, I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but they're just not tactful and not thoughtful with how they send their release packages or whatever, or people's stuff back. And respect to Mickie James making a big complaint about that, you know, especially with today's and internet, you can really complain about anything and you get really a lot of power charged behind that.
Traction. Mark Corono was the main person, and I think they've put the blame on. Apparently there's been a lot of backstage stories saying that he knew his days were numbered. He's fallen out with a load of people backstage, talents and other employees. And obviously John Laurinaitis was brought back, I think maybe in February. And he basically took Mark Corono's role. So this was kind of like his days were numbered. Maybe he knew he was on his way out. And whether it was him or he sent someone to go do it, he's taken the brunt from it and he's been sacked. So, it is just a shame. But
respect. You know, one thing I noticed I forgot to mention about the back to the Rich Swann Kenny Omega match there. It was good to see Mauro Ranallo doing the commentary. Yes. D'Lo Brown as well doing the commentary. I guess he's been a commentator for TNA for a little while. I guess I'm assuming
a couple months, not too long.
Right. So that was good. It was nice to see that happening. Anything else I'm forgetting in the world of wrestling? That's the
I
talk.
think the last major story from WWE anyway was this whole Daniel Bryan. Is he staying? Is he going? Daniel Bryan's contract is supposed to come up. I think September is rumored for when it ends, and he has said he still wants to wrestle, but he's kind of hinted at wrestling elsewhere. And right now he's got a storyline with Roman Reigns that he has to beat Roman Reigns on Friday for the Universal Championship, or he's been banished from SmackDown. So that still opens up roads for, I guess, him to wrestle at Raw, wrestle in NXT. We could see some great matches with him in NXT with Kushida, Pete Dunne. The list goes on. But come September, I don't think personally Daniel Bryan signing a new contract, and I'm not going to say, Daniel Bryan to AEW, maybe the G1 in New Japan, take some time out to be a dad as well, which is obviously very important to him. But yeah, it looks like we are seeing Daniel Bryan's final run in WWE.
Interesting to see what Bryan does next. I don't see him going AEW if he does leave. I just don't see it. I could see him going. I could see him staying first and foremost, or I could see him going to Japan.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, I know Bryan has wrestled Kenny before in the past, but maybe he would like to wrestle Kenny in his prime, so you never know. But I don't know if him going to AEW will be enough for him just to wrestle Kenny. Does that make sense?
I wouldn't want to see him in AEW in a full-time capacity. If they brought him in for a pay-per-view, like Kenny needs a challenger for the world title, we've got somebody, tune in, and out walks Bryan Danielson for a one-off match with Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega wins, and then he's back on the indies, then that's fine for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think he needs to stay in AEW at all.
Bianca Belair and Bayley. Is that the next opponent for Bayley at Backlash?
Yeah, so that's Bianca Belair's first title defense as the SmackDown Women's Champion. She's going to take on Bayley at this WrestleMania Backlash thing. Obviously, they've got previous from before Bianca Belair won the Royal Rumble. So yeah, that should be a good match. I think Bayley's currently got the one win of the match they had over Bianca Belair. I don't think Bianca Belair's beaten her. Kind of interesting where Sasha Banks has kind of just disappeared to in all of this.
Yeah.
But good to see Bayley kind of be used again. She hasn't been used for a long time before WrestleMania. So yeah.
They could do something really special with Bianca Belair. They could really do something where I think, it would be good to have a different opponent each month leading up to next year WrestleMania. Maybe have Bianca versus Charlotte for WrestleMania 37. What we just came from? 37 or 36? 38, right? So it's 37 this year, wasn't it?
Yeah. No. 36 was this one that just happened. No, was it? No, 37. 37 is next year.
37 is next year, right? Are we right?
Mate,
what is wrong with us?
36 was the first pandemic one, that's for sure.
So this was 37 was this year. So 38 will be next year.
Yeah.
So, what they can really do with the WrestleMania 38, so you have Bianca versus Bayley, then you have maybe a program with Carmella, then a program with Naomi. And yeah, I think they should just individually give her one solo matches with maybe literally nearly every women's wrestler in the roster.
You basically want her to annihilate the whole SmackDown roster between now and WrestleMania.
Build her up strong, her and Charlotte, WrestleMania 38. I would love to see it.
They may have their eyes on Sasha Bianca too at
SummerSlam
WrestleMania next year. Or
no,
maybe SummerSlam.
They should do that for SummerSlam. And then so have Sasha back in the mix within all those women that she's gonna go through. But I really think they should have Bianca have the belt for a whole year, and then and make her, maybe drop the belt to Charlotte or maybe even beat Charlotte. Who knows? But I think they should really build a star. She could really be a strong star power. She's got a lot of star power, and I think they should really build on that. I don't know. Maybe it might be too dominant to have her beat everyone. But what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think there's definitely something in that. It's how they go about doing it. Like, I don't think there's probably enough women to feed her one woman every month Mia Yim has recently just joined the SmackDown roster, which
Right.
could be an interesting compare for her. But with that being said, you probably want to build up Mia Yim a bit before you feed her to
Yes.
Belair.
Yes.
But yeah, I think there's definitely star quality in her, and a lot of WWE like their kind of ambassadors outside of the ring as well. She can do a lot of that kind of work once built to that kind of level of star. It'd be interesting to see how they're gonna do this, because the SmackDown women's roster is better than, or should I say, is booked better than the Raws, but that's not really saying much at the
That's not
same
saying
time.
much. No, it's not. It's not at all.
So yeah, I think generally though, she is gonna be in good graces. They will deal with her well and make her look good.
All right. Should we talk about Monday Night Raw? I didn't get to see it at all, so you're gonna have to tell me what happened, and we can talk about it together.
If we must.
I did see one thing.
Any easier. What did you see? Go on.
I did see that T-Bar and Mace now have painting in their face, like a poor man's ascension.
Yeah, someone called them biracial or interracial ascension. You know what? Like, even let's talk on that quickly, because they were demasked obviously last week by Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman, and I just thought, like, good stuff. Like, they've been ridded of this retribution stuff. They even changed their trunks this week on their tights. This just plain black stuff that they're coming out with. Still retribution music, but they still have the names. Why didn't they just come out as Dio Madden and Dijakovic? Rid them of the entire thing. Mustafa Ali said that they were given those names as a punishment for what WWE think of them or something like that.
Yeah.
So now that they're not retribution, now that they don't even have the masks, why are they still bearing the names? Like, this is your opportunity to hit the reset button almost.
100%.
And you haven't done it.
And the worst case thing is, they will do it when it's too late.
Yeah.
They will press the reset button maybe around July, and nobody cares.
Yeah,
it's insane. But you're absolutely right. They can do something with Dijakovic. Dijakovic. I don't know why I can't pronounce his name. Dijakovic. I still can't say it. And Madden. They can really do something with them.
So. I think they're good little contenders to add to this budding tag division. But even that is an issue, because I put out a post today that we've got those two, as we just mentioned, Cedric and Shelton, New Day, Viking Raiders have just returned, Elias and Jackson Riker. So we've got a little budding tag division on Raw. Now, where are the champions? There has been brilliant question. No AJ Styles, no Omos since WrestleMania, since they won 3 weeks now. They ain't been on TV.
That's hilarious. We need a tag team tournament. We need a tag team tournament. A good old tag team tournament needs to come back. Number one contenders for AJ and Omos. Probably be Viking Raiders, right?
That would be the best people to give it to and let them win it. And I mean, I don't even know what to think about the whole AJ Omos thing anymore, but them not being on TV in 3 weeks, no explanation on it. Like, no one knows if it's injuries or sickness or they just haven't been around. Like, it's just weird. Like,
vacation, maybe,
but must you go on vacation with the titles? That shows how much they don't care about the tag team division, really.
No, they don't care. Moving forward, so they had a showing with Cedric and Shelton. Is that what you said?
Who?
Cedric and Shelton. It's Cedric and Shelton still the tag team.
Yes, they are. They took on RK Bro, which is Randy Orton and Riddle. To be honest, this put a smile on my face on Raw. Riddle was backstage doing his usual spiel. He was asked by the interviewer, you beat Randy Orton last week. How do you feel? He was going off on one. Randy Orton walked into the picture and he said, look, I wanted to teach you a lesson last week. In fact, you made me somewhat respect you somewhat by beating me. Riddle went on to talk some rubbish. Randy Orton told him to zip it. Riddle done the whole little zip thing of his lips. He went on to say, I don't know what planet you're from. Riddle said, I'm from planet Earth. Randy Orton said, just shut up, don't talk. We have nothing in common. Riddle said, we have the fact we're both from planet Earth in common. Randy Orton basically said, so last week you came to me with the idea of RK Bro. Now I'm not saying I'm all in on it, but I like you. There's something there. Let's set up. He set up a tag match with Shelton and Cedric, and they're gonna test RK Bro. Obviously, this looked like he's just gonna turn on Riddle and beat him up.
Of course.
But it didn't happen within this match, within this segment. They got the win. And we saw one of these beautiful, picturesque RKOs. Cedric Alexander came flying off the top rope. Randy Orton just caught him midair, set up Shelton on the ring ropes for the DDT, and then we saw Floating Bro, and they won the match. So the turn hasn't happened yet, but to be honest, this was a bit of a shining bit in a poor Raw.
You think there'll be a return of Rated RKO?
Nah, I think that's gone. They had their chance. Obviously Edge got injured after their greatest wrestling match of all time, or whatever they called it, this time last year. I think the boat has passed.
Okay. Let's talk about Asuka. Did Asuka do anything of significance?
Asuka, she was in a 6-woman tag match, which was just complete and utter trash. She tagged with Lana and Naomi to take on Rhea Ripley and the tag team champions Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. There was interference in this match from Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, still playing silly games with the tag champions. But even Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley didn't shine within this match. I wouldn't say Asuka shined. It's just the Raw Women's division is just a complete mess. In the end, Nia Jax pinned Lana for the win. But
they're missing Becky Lynch, aren't they?
Is it Becky Lynch? Like, what I've even kind of found amusing is how Charlotte has somewhat made like she's kind of moved away from this. It's like she knows that this is rubbish, and I'm not standing next to this. Like, she's singling out obviously the likes of Asuka, Rhea Ripley, who is the champion, for her matches. But even though they're trying to throw this whole singles women's division and the tag women's division in together, Charlotte is still somehow keeping herself separate from all of it.
Separate from all of it, yeah.
But yeah, it's a nonsense, really.
Okay. Has Sheamus showed up since he's won the US title?
Yeah, so Sheamus showed up last week. He just Humberto Carrillo came out for a open challenge, but Sheamus never let the match take place. He just beat Carrillo up all around the ring. So this week he came out to do something similar. Humberto Carrillo answered it again, but Humberto Carrillo got the upper hand on Sheamus, beat him up, left him laying, pushed him over the commentator's desk from a tope suicida. And we're probably going to get Humberto Carrillo versus Sheamus for the US Championship somewhere down the line. Maybe not as far as the pay-per-view, which is still like 3 weeks away, but
right.
We might get
at least they're still using him. At least that's good.
It's definitely good to see him. We saw Angel Garza on the show as well, although he's still involved in some romance-related stuff with Nia Jax. But he's getting on TV.
Bobby Lashley returned on Raw, right?
Yeah, so he was on Raw last week. I guess this was the big angle coming out of Raw. Before this, so kind of going back to the beginning, we saw Dijakovic and Dio Madden, T-Bar and Mace had a match against, they were supposed to have a match against Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman said he didn't want no help. Him and Drew McIntyre had an argument at the top of the show. Braun Strowman went out there to have a handicap match with these two guys. They didn't want to abide by the rules. They beat up Braun Strowman in the middle of the ring. Drew McIntyre came out to make the save, kind of poking fun at Braun Strowman, like, you didn't want me here, but I saved you. Turned into a tag match. Halfway through the match, Braun Strowman was doing his little choo-choo train thing around the ring. Drew McIntyre caught him with a clothesline. Drew McIntyre couldn't get back into the ring by the time of the count. So T-Bar, Mace won on disqualification. Braun Strowman gave Drew McIntyre a running power slam because he hit him with a clothesline earlier. Braun Strowman went backstage. Drew McIntyre went backstage, asked for a match on the night with Braun Strowman. Adam Pearce said yes. Braun Strowman went to Adam Pearce and said, I don't mind having the match, but a couple of weeks ago when it was the number one contenders match to see who would face Bobby Lashley between Braun Strowman, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre, I wasn't pinned. Randy Orton was pinned. So this match versus Drew McIntyre tonight, if I beat Drew McIntyre, I want to be inserted into that WrestleMania Backlash match. So they went on to have their match in the main event. Pretty decent match, just this kind of same big man beefy match we've been getting for weeks between the likes of Braun, Bobby Lashley, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. We saw MVP and Bobby Lashley were at ringside. And in fact, let me just go back a bit in the story. Bobby Lashley and MVP cut a promo, and they were really concerned. Although, yes, he's the almighty, they were concerned that, you're stacking the odds against Bobby Lashley again. This isn't how you treat a WWE champion. This match can possibly become a triple threat match. This is how Bobby lost the US Championship back in January, if you remember, without being pinned. And the exact same thing can happen with the WWE Championship. So they expressed their concern, but they were at ringside for the actual match because obviously it's in their favor that Drew McIntyre wins this match so that Braun Strowman doesn't get inserted into it. So that came to a point in the match where I think Braun was going to give Drew McIntyre the running power slam. Bobby Lashley jumps up on the apron, distracts the ref. MVP pulls Drew McIntyre off Braun's shoulders. Braun knocks out MVP. And then we see T-Bar and Mace get involved. Now, obviously, we've been thinking T-Bar and Mace have some type of affiliation with the Hurt Business guys since they've been attacking Drew McIntyre. But obviously, right now, Hurt Business want Drew McIntyre to win. So Mace and T-Bar still came in, got involved, still attacked Drew McIntyre when referee wasn't looking. Braun Strowman applies the running power slam, and gets the win. So Braun Strowman is now inserted into the WWE Championship match against Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. And I think Braun Strowman getting a win over Drew McIntyre is no small feat because Drew McIntyre hasn't lost to many people in the last 18 months.
No.
I think he's lost to Roman, Miz, obviously, when Miz pinned him for the WWE Championship.
Orton once. He lost to
Orton, the championship.
And Lashley, right?
Yeah, about 4 people or so in the last 18 months or so. So, Braun's added to that list. But, yeah, where do you think we're going to go in terms of the WWE title at Backlash?
Yeah, so triple threat. Lashley retains. McIntyre and Strowman go to another program. Lashley. Who will Lashley face after them? Do you think there'll be another rubber match? I don't think so.
I hope not. The next pay-per-view after that is Money in the Bank, which is kind of treated as a big-ish pay-per-view these days.
Yes, of course.
So it would be interesting to see like a first-time opponent or something new at Money in the Bank. But yeah, I think Braun Strowman has just been inserted into this match to take the fall. They probably don't want Bobby Lashley pinning or making Drew McIntyre go to sleep again. So maybe Braun Strowman, that's what he's here for.
I'm trying to think who else. Oh, maybe Keith Lee. Oh, wait, maybe Keith Lee will be back.
Maybe. Don't really even know where he is. I know. I think they said he's ill.
I wouldn't be surprised if Keith Lee returns to face off against Lashley.
You want to see Keith Lee lose to Lashley, though?
No, I don't. But I can see it happening. Or because I'm looking at the Raw roster now.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this roster's not great. If you look at the main eventers in this roster, AJ Styles.
That's not even on TV right now.
AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, The Fiend, Strowman, McIntyre, Jeff Hardy.
Nah, he's not a main eventer. He's not even been on TV for weeks.
Keith Lee, he's currently inactive. Kofi Kingston,
doing tag team stuff.
Randy Orton.
They could always throw Randy Orton in there, to be honest.
Sheamus.
Yeah, he got a title.
And that's it?
Yeah.
God damn, that's bad. I can't even think of who will face off against him.
Yeah.
It's Lashley. Yeah.
I was even thinking earlier today that isn't it funny how all the wrestlers on Raw, like the top guys on Raw, are kind of stylistically the same. And
Mhm.
on SmackDown, all the kind of technical, more technical wrestlers are more stylistically the same. So you've got all
Yeah.
these kind of bigger, beefy guys and stuff like that. The WWE kind of made wrestlers on Raw, and it's like the guys that came from the Indies and have that kind of style all on SmackDown, apart from maybe Roman. But yeah, everyone else, I don't know what if they purposely split it like that, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
it's
I feel. I feel that triple threat might go into a two pay-per-view
deal.
deal, and maybe they'll add, or maybe add a fourth person. See, this is why
Possibly.
they should never release Samoa Joe. They're stupid.
It's
They could have.
madness.
That's another man they could have slotted into face against Lashley.
Yeah, that is a singles match. That is a Money in the Bank match.
That's what I'm saying. Stupid.
I mean,
Stupid.
I have a personal fear that Money in the Bank is going to be won by either Drew McIntyre or Edge.
Edge would be a good shout to face off against Lashley.
But he's won it twice already, bro.
Yeah, no,
This is the thing. Always feel like Money in the Bank should be for the guys that are on the cusp of making that main event step. But I
they
don't want
need to
to.
get that Lesnar money. Lashley versus Lesnar at SummerSlam. They need to make that work. That needs
Yeah,
to
that
happen.
has to be the SummerSlam match.
That has to happen.
Because
All
right
right.
now, I don't think they're treating Bobby Lashley like he's the champion. He's just the guy with the belt.
Yeah.
But Drew McIntyre is still kind of being treated as the champion, like the top guy sort of thing.
Okay, what else going forward? What else? That's it?
Yeah, there's not much else. Nothing great or surprising to talk about really.
They need to really step up with this content, man. I'm not even engaging in it, to be fair. I did watch the Kenny Omega Rich Swann match. That was fun. But that was it. I just watched. That's the only wrestling I've watched this week. I don't know, guys. Listeners, kick out listeners, please give us some questions when you're in. I should have tweeted out actually some questions to ask, but we'll do that for the next episode. But right now, wrestling is a bit of a drag right now. I'm not really enjoying it. Hence the reason why it's just me and Mex right now trying our best to get a show going. Not everybody's really watching wrestling from the Kick Out team at the moment. But
the Roman Daniel Bryan stuff on SmackDown is due to be very entertaining. Obviously, like we said earlier,
that's something to look forward to. That's something to look forward to.
Daniel Bryan's got to beat Roman Reigns on Friday to remain a member of the SmackDown, and then obviously win the Universal Championship. If he doesn't, he's off. And then we're gonna get Intercontinental Championship match between Big E and Apollo Crews on Friday as well. So Big E gonna try to get his revenge. So that should be pretty interesting. Although we probably expect Apollo Crews to retain. There's a couple interesting things. AEW next week, Blood and Guts match. Apparently, that's a one match card. For those that don't know, Blood and Guts is similar to War Games. They're going to set it up to similar to War Games.
Yeah.
But rather than, I think WWE use like two cages next to each other. Theirs, it looks like from some of the pictures, is like two Hell in a Cells next to each other.
Okay.
So a bit of a structural difference, but how they're going to do this one match card next Wednesday is going to be very interesting to see. Omega.
So when you say one match card, you mean the whole card is just one match?
That's what they've said. That's exactly what they've said. There's like the Blood and Guts match is going to be the only match on the card. So if they're saying something like that, I can only imagine maybe for the first 30-40 minutes of the broadcast, they might do stuff like interviews, backstage stuff to kind of build the tension towards it.
Okay, that could work still.
And then maybe we have, usually entrances, 10-15 minutes of entrances, and then like a 1 hour actual War Games match or Blood and Guts match.
That's interesting.
So that's what they've said so far anyway. We'll see how it plans out or if they change that. But yeah, that's what that's looking like. And then of course, Kenny Omega, as of time of recording, Kenny Omega should turn up on Dynamite tomorrow night. And if he's going to turn up with the Impact Championship and kind of explain to the wider audience how he obtained this championship, because they never explained that he even had a title match.
We need to see Kenny with all the belts on, man. Like that's
100%.
The collector Kenny that will be taken more seriously. Obviously, he is taken very seriously, but just listen, he's still got it. He's still the champion. He's still the man. He's still the best wrestler in the world. This is the type of things they need to have shown apparent on the AEW television, and TNT needs to let that happen for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, Max, thank you for always giving me energy to do this podcast. I was very low energy today. I was very tired from work. We'll try and see if we can catch up again sometime this week. Maybe we'll do a AEW Dynamite. Well, is Blood and Guts this week?
No, next week, 5th of May.
All right. We'll see what happens tomorrow. If tomorrow is something to talk about, if AEW's episode tomorrow night is good television, same with NXT, if that's good television, I will message you Thursday morning and we'll do another episode.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Well, listen, this has been the Kick Out Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Follow Mex at WrestleManiac UK. Follow me at Skid It World. And we'll be back with more Kick Out. And follow the Kick Out, obviously. Also follow the Kick Out, most importantly.
Yep.
Cheers. All right. Peace.